hate that you do this to me.
Hello, good people of the internet, and welcome back. I love leaving these cliffhangers.
God, you're just as bad at this. You're just as bad when we watch anime and shit together, too.
Yes.
I ask you questions and all kinds of stuff, and you let me ramble on and on and on and theorize, and sometimes it turns out to be a lot more right than I ever expected. But on the other hand, it also turns out that you just let me ramble for no reason. You just let me go on a tangent because I could.
Yeah.
And it completely pointless.
I like having you theorize. It's entertaining.
I mean, yeah, but like, don't let me go on a wrong theory for that long.
But then when you find out the truth, you're all like, ah, and that's amazing too. I think it might be the jar that he hid in a safe.
Well, piece of the jar.
Well, yeah. You claim he had nothing to do with the forgery, but I'm afraid that is a claim you cannot back up. Explain yourself. Several pieces of evidence were found in your office. Take this jar, for example.
That's the blue badger you showed us earlier.
A piece of this jar was discovered in your safe. Not only that, but the evidence list I presented earlier was actually found inside your desk.
It was found where?
You see, Chief Gant, these articles of evidence uncovered in your office are both concrete proof that you also played a part in the illegal investigation.
Chief Gant, what's the meaning of this?
Oh, here's a defense attorney who may even rival Worthy. So you admit to it then? That you were involved in the forgery? Who, me? Or do you mean you? Me? Why would I have anything to do with that? Well, you were the one who snuck into my office when you found this evidence. Prosecutors aren't the only ones capable of forging evidence, you know. Defense attorneys can also do so, too. Isn't that right, Righto?
However, Detective Gumshoe was present during the investigation.
Worthy, my boy. Not even detectives are exempt from the law. Rest assured, Dick will receive his due punishment. What? If Detective Gumshoe's salary drops any further, he'll end up paying to work. I thought he was fired.
I thought so too. Yes, well, in light of the detective's presence, please give us your testimony regarding these pieces of evidence found in your office, and their relation to the forgery that took place at the crime scene.
My. Kids these days no longer know how to put two and two together.
And apparently the owners no longer know how to fucking speak.
Let's see. What was it now? A jar fragment and a list? For all I know, you could have planted them in my office.
I could have planted them in my office.
Whoops, did I say that out loud?
You could have planted them in my office.
Anyway, you can't prove when those pieces of evidence were discovered. If they were found after Dark was convicted, they're worthless. There's no reason I participated in a forgery.
Forgery?
Forgery?
Reganite.
Yeah, you're Reganite.
Reganite.
Rearranging the crime scene wouldn't help me in any way.
Exactly Reganite.
Yeah, that is exactly Reganite.
Mr. Wright.
Yes, Your Honor?
When investigating the crime scene, you should have been more careful to observe protocol.
You do understand that I am Chief of Police, right? There will be consequences. Oh. Indeed, I believe I will press charges, so you won't make the same mistake again.
My apologies, Chief, but would you mind waiting until tomorrow for that? Today is, well, you know.
Alright, Udgy. In return, though,
I know. That place, right?
Huh? What are these guys? What are these guys? Telepathic? What?
I'm assuming that it's like something for the judge's like anniversary or birthday or something or whatever. So he's gonna do that celebration or whatever tonight, and then tomorrow I guess he's taking the chief out to dinner or something as like repayment. At least I would assume that's the arrangement, but
What? No, they're talking about pressing charges to Wright for breaking into the office.
well, yes, but anyway.
Oh, okay. Wait. I'd appreciate if you stopped making these ridiculous allegations. Yes, you do have a point. You wouldn't have the guts to do something like that. What? I'll have you know, back in the day, I once broke into a cattle ranch and tipped...
Mr. Wright, what are you saying?
Anyway, you can't prove I didn't carry in the evidence, can you? If you have proof to the contrary, you're going to need it later.
Later? What are you talking about?
What else? I'm talking about when Rito's prints are found. Yes, if they're found inside my safe, they would prove his investigation was illegal. I've never faced anyone as slimy as this guy. What do you mean by that? This is all purely hypothetical, of course. But suppose I did place those items in my safe. Such an act wouldn't necessarily can constitute forgery. If concealing evidence found at a crime scene isn't forgery, I'm not through speaking yet, Righto. It all depends on when the evidence was discovered. Are you saying this jar fragment wasn't discovered in the initial investigation? It would appear not. After all, it wasn't listed in the evidence list. For all we know, it could have been suddenly materialized the day after Dark was sentenced. Oh, and wouldn't that be convenient?
Right. The Chief is talking about a possibility. So long as you can't rule that out, your remarks, however clever they may be, will only succeed in wasting time.
Tell me something I don't know. Come on now, Righto. Think about it. How can you look me in the eye and say that? Because I'm innocent. Remember? Who was it that murdered Neil?
I'm not sure I care for the word murder here. But in the end, the person responsible for Mr. Marshall's unfortunate demise was Emma Skye.
Well, now do you see? Really, Chief Gant? At the very least, there is one large benefit you've had reaped from all of this. Oh, I wasn't aware. What is this benefit? That would, of course, be the position you have. Chief of Police.
Oh.
The resolution of the SL9 incident secured your promotion to Chief. That in itself is a sufficient motive. Ho, 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 ho! Oh, that's a good one. Huh? Do you really think I'm that incompetent? What do you mean? Even without that case, I was already in line to become the next chief. That resolution of SL9 merely sped up the inevitable a little. Is that true, Edgeworth?
Yes, he was going to be made chief anyway.
Be careful when pointing that finger, or you might end up being the one pointed at.
So that means there is only one possible motivation for you to commit forgery. If you didn't do it for yourself, then you did it for someone else.
Don't be silly, Worthy. You must know me better than that. There are only 3 people I look out for. Me, myself, and I. There, it's out in the open now. Gee, would you mind if I change my testimony a little?
By all means, please do.
I wouldn't be anyone's accomplice if there was nothing in it for me. Sorry, I had to read it. Nothing in it for you? Sorry, but the only person I care about is yours truly. That girl, Nana's little sister, was it? If you think I felt sorry for her, you'd better think again.
You're right. You don't feel sorry for anyone.
Be tough on crime and tough on people. That's how I was raised.
You seem to be lax enough on yourself, though.
Ho ho ho! Oh, that's a good one, Worthy. Could there have been something in it for him? Given his selfishness, he would have... would this have helped someone out? Yeah. True, you might not help out anyone for their sake, but if it would benefit you, you might decide to assist someone.
Mr. Wright, it appears you're positively determined to portray the Chief as a nice man who likes to lend people a hand.
That's not what I mean.
Very well then. Who is this person you believe Chief Gant may have helped forge evidence? Chief Prosecutor Lana Skye. The defendant?
I believe it's quite obvious in light of the circumstances. Emma Skye fell victim to an unfortunate series of events. Who would want to help her more than her own sister, Lana? As for the Chief Gant, he would have a reason to help Lana if she asked him to. That reason, of course, is self-profit.
Self-profit? What do you mean?
After the SL9 incident was resolved, Lana Skye was appointed Chief Prosecutor at the Prosecutor's Office. The person who arranged this job change was you, Chief Gant.
But how would he profit from all of this? He would be able to use the Chief Prosecutor as his puppet. Essentially, he would acquire unchecked authority over all investigations. Do you mean to tell me that, despite the Chief's formidable appearance, he plays with puppets? Oh, wait. You must mean puppet as in someone forced to do his bidding. Never mind.
Admit it, Chief. You assisted Lana Skye in forging evidence. Your motive? To appoint her as Chief Prosecutor so you could control her. Righto, my boy. You have quite an imagination. Let me ask you something. What? Do you have any proof of this? That I controlled Lana? For example, is Lana testifying that I've done such a thing? Lana, she's keeping quiet to protect Emma. There's no way she'd testify against Gant.
I'm afraid without any proof, all this amounts to nothing more than mere conjecture. Unless, that is also what happened in this incident. This incident? This incident? Which one would that be? Of course I'm talking about the murder of Detective Bruce Goodman. The Chief Prosecutor has been acting strange throughout this entire trial. Almost as if someone has been controlling her.
Worthy, you better watch your tongue. I wouldn't want you to get hurt.
Just what do you mean?
What he means, Your Honor, is that Chief Gant is involved in the murder of Detective Goodman. Not only that, but the Chief is also making Lana to take the rap to cover up his involvement.
What? Order! I said order! Mr. Wright, you can't be serious.
Huh?
This is an affront to the highest-ranking officer in our law enforcement agency. To accuse the chief of police of blackmail and murder? That's impossible.
Your Honor, I was merely reiterating what Mr. Edris said in an easier-to-understand language.
It's too late, Mr. Wright. There's no turning back for us now.
It looks like he's the one who decided to go through with this.
Can you prove this, Mr. Wright? That the chief, a high-ranking officer of the law, is involved in this murder?
Good question.
Regardless of his rank or title, Chief Gant is just a man. The question is he a criminal? I believe the evidence will tell. I see. Alright then. Let's see what Mr. Wright's got, and it better be good. Show us this evidence that ties Chief Gant to the murder of Detective Goodman.
And that's when this finally comes into play.
Well, Chief?
So long as Ryder here is tossing things regardless of their relevance, mind if I toss something too, Udgy? This shoe should do nicely. I'll chuck it right out to you.
You always were quite the joker, weren't you?
Wait, am I wrong? Did I get it wrong? Oops, looks like I got it wrong.
Don't oops me! Maybe this boot to the head will knock some sense into you. Ha!
So you referenced it!
Yeah!
What the fuck?
Well, I'm pretty sure the games came out before.
You're right.
But...
So wait, is this where it came from then?
No, actually, Funnily enough, that bit...
I know, there's like an SNL skit of it, isn't there?
It's not an SNL... It might have been SNL, but I remember...
I know there's like a real-life version.
There is a real-life skit of it, yeah. They copied it and just pasted it over with animated Phoenix Wright characters.
Yeah.
But anyway, maybe with the update, actually, that might have come out after the video. So, actually, yeah, it probably is a reference.
Wow. I mean, I guess it's a good thing I got it wrong, so we could see that.
That is funny, yeah. I know it's hard with all that's gone on during this trial. But try to think back to what happened in the evidence room 4 days ago.
Now that he mentions it, we did find something during yesterday's whatever. Something that proved Gantz entered that room. Oh, with the fucking ID sheet.
Looks like he wants another one of your boots, Aji.
That's me. Looks like he wants another one of your boots, Aji.
I see. Alright then. Let's see what Mr. Wright's got. And it better be good. The record?
Yes, I was going to save, but I can't while I'm in here.
That one? Isn't that it?
Yes.
This is the RD card list.
Yes, the one that shows who entered the evidence room on the day of the crime. There was one ID on the list we couldn't determine the owner of yesterday. 7777777. Sorry, but there's no way you can prove that's my ID number. It's your number.
What? How do you know that?
The safe in Chief's Gant office requires a code to open. A 7-digit code.
7 digits. You don't mean...
I'm afraid so, Your Honor. The code was 7777777. The same remaining ID card number that's on that list. Chief Gant, you entered the evidence room on the day of the crime.
Order! Order! Chief Gant, what do you have to say?
Nothing. Sorry, for some reason I forgot that I was voicing him. The defense search of my office was in violations of regulations.
And I would demand Mr. Wright be punished to the maximum extent of the law. But right now, this court demands an explanation from you about the use of this ID card. Chief Gant, so you admit it. You entered the evidence room on the day of the crime.
What about it? I'm chief of police. Whether it's in the evidence room or the bathroom, what's the difference? I can go anywhere I want.
Tell me, when you entered the room, were you alone?
I always go to the bathroom alone, as I do with the evidence room. Detective Goodman wouldn't have happened to be with you that day, would he? Of course not. Why would he be? I hadn't seen him in days. You hadn't seen him in days, Chief Gant? I'm afraid you've just undone yourself. On that day, you had to have met with Detective Goodman.
What do you mean? This trial's purpose is to determine Lana Sky's guilt. No, it isn't, Your Honor. This trial's purpose is to determine the truth. If Chief Gant met with the victim on the day of the crime, then we need to determine one thing. What transpired during that meeting? In that case, Mr. Wright, I'm going to have to ask you for evidence. Show us proof that the victim went to meet Chief Gant on the day of the crime.
I want to save, but I can't while I'm in this menu.
Is it the ID record thing again, or...?
I don't think so.
Because that would prove that he was, like...
Can only be submitted to the chief of police.
Oh. Oh, well, yeah, because it was stolen that morning.
Detective Goodman lost his ID card on the day of the crime.
Or, to be more accurate, Jake Marshall stole it.
So Detective Goodman filled out a lost item report. He would have had to give the report to the chief of police. Yet, you are in possession of that report, which means you can't be sure if he filed it. He filed it. How do I know, you ask? Because he needed to enter the evidence room that day.
He needed to?
Yes, to transfer the evidence out.
Oh.
Detective Goodman took the form to you, Chief Gant. Then, you accompanied the detective to the evidence room. I accompanied him? There's no other way the murderer and Detective Goodman could have entered that room. Hold on. Let me guess what you're going to say next. I, the chief of police, murdered poor Goodman. Exactly.
But wait, the chief didn't necessarily need to accompany him to the evidence room. He could have just lent him his ID card.
Yes. Now that you mention it, it's not like,
Sorry, but that's not possible. According to the record, your card was only used once. Yet you showed us your ID card earlier. If you had really lent it to Detective Goodman, it would have been found on his body.
No!
Chief Gant, you didn't! I don't know what the fuck he turned into for a moment there, but that was
scary, yeah.
Yeah.
The murder was most likely a spur-of-the-moment crime, for no one in their right mind would choose the police department as a place to commit murder. After the murder, you contacted Lana at the prosecutor's office. Why? To dispose of Detective Goodman's body, of course.
You're forgetting, Mr. Wright, that the victim's body was discovered in the prosecutor's office's parking lot. How did he manage to move it there?
I was at the police department the entire day, you know.
And everyone's aware that Lana stayed at the prosecutor's office after the ceremony.
Everyone except me, it seems. Still, you're the chief of police. You have an entire police force at your disposal. Oh, so you think I ordered an officer to do it? Hey you! Take this here dead body over to the prosecutor's office. I don't think so. Chief Gant, you left all the evidence we need to prove how you moved the body to the prosecutor's office. And here's this time I thought it was just a useless clue taking up space. Okay, now's the time we use it, finally.
The glove?
Yeah, no, the screwdriver.
How could the chief have moved the body? Mr. Wright, show us this evidence.
Oh, before... I want to save.
Yeah, because you, what, half health?
Yeah. To move the victim's body, Chief Gant used the screwdriver.
Eh?
He asked Edworth to grab something for him. Why? It's just a useless screwdriver. It has no relevance. Its only purpose was to get Edworth to the
prosecutor's office.
Well, no, to the evidence room. And while he was grabbing the screwdriver, the body was placed in his trunk. And then he drove to the prosecutor's office, and then it was found.
I see. Okay.
This is how he moved the Detective Goodman's body.
What's that? A screwdriver? But what does that have to do with this case?
Mr. Edworth, think back to the day of the crime. What is the screwdriver doing here?
It's here because... I was asked to go. By Chief Gant, no less. He told me he wanted me to keep it here in the prosecutor's office. And in any case, on the day of the stabbings, I brought this back here. After the ceremony ended that day, I didn't plan to return to the prosecutor's office.
But you did, because Chief Gant asked you to.
You mean I...
The body was found in the trunk of Mr. Edworth's car.
Stabbed again with his knife, no less.
I think it's obvious what happened. The body was moved by that car.
Detective Goodman's body was carried in the trunk of Mr. Edgeworth's car.
Yes, unless, of course, you have another explanation, Chief. Why else would you have asked Mr. Edworth to transport evidence from a closed case? There's only one plausible explanation. To transport the body, your accomplice... To your accomplice, Miss Lana Skye.
Order. What's going on here? Is there no room for rebuttal in the defense's outrageous accusations?
Think back to the photograph Miss Starr took at the prosecutor's office. This was not a photo of the body being stuffed into the trunk to be taken away. It was exactly the opposite.
It is a photo of the body being taken from the trunk. Chief Gant, please say something.
I believe... your time's up.
My time's up?
Sorry, Righto, but I'm having lunch with the District Attorney General after this. We have to get going if we're going to make it in time to buy the early bird special. But the cross-examination isn't finished yet. Remember what I told you earlier? A police chief has all kinds of weapons at his disposal. Weapons? like the right to refuse to testify. I'm invoking that right now.
What? That is not a right to be casually invoked. There are certain risks to be considered. So you're going to just run away after all this?
Run away? Don't make me laugh, Worthy. I stabbed good old Goodman. Well, I didn't say good old, but whatever. Is that what that's what you're saying, right? But if any conclusive evidence, you would have presented it by now. Well, You think I had Helena dispose of the body? If so, then show your proof and get it over with.
I'll say it again, Mr. Wright. Damon Kent is the current chief of police. This court will not tolerate any accusations against him without concrete proof. Well, Mr. Wright?
Your Honor?
Do you have any concrete proof? Proof that Chief Kent murdered Detective Goodman and made Miss Skye dispose of his body. I don't know why it took me so long to read that last bit, but...
You probably had another, petite.
Probably.
Do I have any concrete proof?
Yes, we have to, right?
Probably. I can't let him just squirm his way out of this.
Probably. Of course we have to have fucking concrete proof. We've investigated fucking everything. This is it.
Yeah,
here and now.
Either
it goes down or we do.
Yeah, you're right. I'm just trying to think of what that proof is.
Oh.
I've got to keep the pressure on. Yes, Your Honor. I do have such evidence.
Is this the glove? Because Jack went in there to... No! It has to be the evidence locker, right?
What about it?
Well, so when Jack went in there earlier that day...
Who's Jack?
Jack Marshall.
Jake,
excuse me. When Jake went in there to go take stuff...
The reason it was still open.
Yeah, the glove was there, but everything else was already removed, right?
Yeah.
So it's got to be the glove, because Jake wouldn't have known that it was there unless he put it there, but obviously he didn't, because, well, he was using Goodman's disguise and everything to get in.
Yeah. Okay, well, then let's do that.
It's got to be the glove.
Let's save again, just in case.
But you just saved.
Alright.
Anyway. Then just hurry up. Then please, hurry up and present it. Then please, just remember. It better prove Chief Kent murdered Detective Goodman beyond a shadow of a doubt.
The glove is what we're going with.
I mean, that's the only thing we have, right? So, music stopped. What exactly is this evidence?
It's proof as to whether or not it's enough to demonstrate the Chief's guilt. I'll let you be the judge.
But I am the judge.
Oh, right. Well, what do you think, Your Honor?
What I think, Mr. Wright, is I'm going to be late for lunch.
That was not it.
What?
I guess it wasn't enough. Please, Your Honor, just give me a little longer to consider.
I was so sure that was it. Well, present evidence and then load, I guess? Or, you can just... Alright. Wait, did you just save?
Yes, I did.
Why? Why didn't you just load? You had more health when you...
Yeah, well, I still have, half health.
Anyway.
What if it was the knife? Because that was part of the SL9 thing, right?
I mean, the thing's attached to it, yeah.
Okay.
Is that not it?
No, it's not.
Is he going to say something different if it is? Or...
Yes.
Oh. Alright. Well, present evidence. Okay, so it's not the knife, it's not the glove. Is it maybe not anything actually related to SL9?
What can prove that he killed Bruce Goodman? What, should we... Is it the locker? Is it the... Nope. What if we don't have evidence right now? No proof yet.
What? No. We've got to have proof, right? Something to prove that... What about the shield?
What about the shield?
With the broken handle thingy.
What about it?
Didn't he use... Or, no, that's right, because Neil used it to defend himself or something at the... Okay, Gotta have something to... Well, the knife was the... shows a super large pool of blood.
Yeah, but that's not in the evidence list.
I know, but in the evidence, what caused that pool of blood?
We can't present it if we don't have it as evidence.
I
don't think we have it yet.
Well,
right?
There's no. I don't think we're gonna get another. We're not gonna get another chance to go investigate. This is stupid. We're on day 4 of what is supposed to be the Law in the Sky trial.
3. There's only over 3 days.
I thought we were technically on.
No.
Okay.
There's always like the lunch breaks and whatnot.
Right. Anyway, this is our last chance. I don't know if there's anything else we can do at this point. There's got to be something, right?
Well, I saved. So in the next episode, I'm gonna just see what happens if I press this.
All right.
See you guys next time.
Bye.